Welcome to Above Par. I'm your host, Kathy Hartwood. I show you how to take more of your talent to the golf course without practicing harder, taking more lessons, or buying new equipment. I show you how to end the frustration of underperforming so you can start playing to your potential. This is where you are going to learn how to think above par so you can play below par. Let's get to it. Hello, my golf friend. Welcome back to Think Above Par. Super happy you're here. Hope you're having a great summer, playing lots of amazing golf. Maybe you're even playing with some golfers who hit it further than you, or farther or farther. But we're going to talk about hitting it farther. And I find this comes up a lot. And actually, it comes up a lot with me when I play with people. It always has, about the distance that I might hit it off of the tee box relative to somebody else. Actually, I'm going to share with you a quick story about when I was playing in lots of pro-ams. And, okay, this is going to be slight male bashing, but just bear with me on this. A lot of times back in the day, I would just have men in my group as pro-am partners. Not very often did I have a woman in the pro-am group for whatever reasons. So what would happen is we'd play the same tees as the men amateurs in the group, and the pros that I was with, my friends, we would have a running joke on at what hole did our amateurs go sideways. And this is what would happen, is that they would tee off with us and they'd realize that we hit it as far as them, if not farther than they did. And that didn't sit well with them, right? They did not like that. And so it took usually between 3 and 4 holes of them trying to swing harder and harder and harder to make the ball go farther and farther and farther, or further and further and further. And what would happen is they go sideways. So now they're in the trees the rest of the round. I mean, they're out of the competition because they've messed up their mechanics and their tempo, and they're swinging so hard and squeezing so tightly because all they want to do is hit it past the lady pros that they're playing with. It is really comical to watch and predictable. I get it, right? It probably doesn't feel very good to see a woman outdriving you, let alone anybody outdrive you. And that's what I want to talk about today, because this topic comes up a lot when I coach people, or just even when I play golf, even in some member guests that I've been playing in, about people wanting to hit it past me. Or you might be the person in the group that you're playing with someone who hits it longer than you. And then what happens is it gets in your head that you just want to hit it past them, or they're hitting it further than you're hitting it, and it bugs you. Distance becomes an issue, right? If this is you and you can relate, I want you to finish listening to this episode. If you're like, I'm the long ball hitter, I don't really care, then, go on to the next episode. Just listen. I want you to stay here. Okay, so this is what I want you to ask yourself. If this is you, why do you want to hit it past this person in your group? Why is that in your brain? Why is that preoccupying your head? Right? And if you had to think about it and you had to answer it, it's because when you hit it shorter than someone else, you feel inadequate. Just like those pro-am partners that I was talking about, they feel less than. You're creating a story because of comparison that you're not as good as that person or that golfer. You might even have a story that they have an uglier swing than you. They don't practice as much as you. They don't care as much as you. And yet they can hit it further than you. Like, you work out and you have really strong muscles and you take care of yourself, and they're over there chain smoking and drinking beer and, don't take care of themselves, and they hit it further than you, and you're ticked off. I've heard that story too. So why do you need to hit it past them? What are you making it mean that you can't hit it up with them or further than them? What's the story in your head? Because that story in your head is taking away from you focusing on your golf game. You are shaming yourself ever so slightly and dipping into your confidence by saying you're not enough. Anytime we can switch a phrase into I'm not enough, I don't hit it far enough, I don't make enough birdies, I don't score low enough, right? We shame ourselves. It doesn't feel very good. It for sure isn't boosting our confidence. And that's going to show up in your performance when you're out there on the golf course. So first, find the reason why you want to hit it as far, if not further, than this person in your group. And it could be this one person. Like, you have this one person you play with all the time, and you just want to hit it past them so badly. Because then I want to ask you, how will you get to feel when you hit it past them? Now, this is one of the things that I know this is preoccupying someone's head when I'm playing golf with them, is that let's say I hit a drive that wasn't so great, or it hit a soft part of the fairway, which happens, right? You can see your ball mark right there. It didn't roll anywhere. And this other person maybe rips one or just hits a drier part of the fairway or hits the downslope and rolls past you. And I hear the comment, ha, I hit it by you on that hole. I was like, oh my gosh, clearly this has been in your head. I did not know this was in your head. I didn't think twice about it. But by sharing that comment, ha, I got you on that one, shows me how much space I have been renting inside their brain. Whether they've been feeling bad about themselves or annoyed or not feeling like they can keep up, or they deserve to play with certain groups of people, or they belong in the group, or they're good enough. It was like, what's the story? But the minute that you hit it past somebody or up with somebody, how do you get to feel? Because that's going to be really revealing. Usually it's that we feel enough. We feel adequate. Like that sentence, all those sentences in that story get to go away because I hit it with this person or past this person. And now I feel like I'm enough. Okay. I can stop all that chatter in my head. I am good enough. And I do belong to play with this group. And I'm as good as her. Right? I have potential. I have possibility. So I want you to ask yourself, how will you get to feel if you hit it up with or past that person that's in your group? And then the next question is, how do you hit it further? Okay, so I'm going to bring out some of my golf instructor part of me, but how do you hit it further? I mean, if you could hit it further on demand, why haven't you been doing it the whole time? I did a club fitting and I was on a little monitor that was checking my club head speed to see what kind of shaft I was going to have put in the club. And the person testing me, who was a good friend, he gave me whatever my club head speed was at that time. And I was like, oh, I'm going to see if I can make it go higher. Right? It's kind of like that sledgehammer game at a carnival where you're just trying to get the thing to go a little bit, like to ring the top, right? You're just trying to get it to go up a little bit higher. So I kept swinging harder and harder. And I hit probably about 5 or 6 drives. And he goes, are you trying to hit it further? And I said, yeah. And he said, your club head speed's getting slower. I was like, oh my gosh. Plus it was so much effort and it felt so unnatural and uncomfortable. My tempo was off. I had to squeeze harder. I was getting a little out of sequence because I was doing it from the wrong body parts, which is usually what happens when people try and hit it further. They're not doing it in a sequential order, right? So that's why they end up hitting it more sideways and their contact gets worse. So I laughed at myself and I just went back to swinging the way that I typically swing. My club head speed went back up. So I'm going to ask you, how do you hit it further? Most people squeeze harder. They try and create more speed on purpose. And they usually get, like I said, their tempo gets off and they get out of sequence. And then what happens is you start missing the center of the face. Let me tell you, distance is greatly improved when you hit the center. Right? So the more that you're swinging at a pace that you're not comfortable with or that you can repeat, the more you're going to be off center, right, on that club head. And then you hit it sideways, right? Because you're going to have a harder time squaring up the face. You're not used to that tempo or that rhythm, and it's going to be harder for you to square the face up. So then they start going sideways. Anybody had that experience? Raise your hand if you're listening. Right? I know you have. We've all done that, where we've tried to swing out of our shoes just a little bit, and it's not effective. It's not predictable. It's not something that we can repeat on a consistent basis. Right? The way that you swing at the speed that you own, the max speed that you own right now at this given moment in time, going out onto the golf course is to be relaxed and have good rhythm and have good tempo and make solid contact. Yes, you want to create club head speed, but you want to practice that on the range and learn how to do that and find the areas of your swing that you can increase the speed in, because chances are, and I've taught golf a long time, I've witnessed this, and I've witnessed this at playing in all those pro-ams. Most people don't know how to do it in a sequential order, and that's why the ball goes sideways. Okay, so what's the takeaway? Kathy, what's your point? Right? This is what you want to say, is that I want you to witness yourself trying to chase the distance of somebody else in your group and what you're making that mean. This is great self-awareness. It's where we compare ourselves to other people and we make ourselves feel inadequate. And that's not going to feel good personally for you, just about yourself and your confidence, but it's also not going to be very good for your golf game because you're going to be preoccupied with someone else's swing. I just played in a member guest, and two of the people for sure in the group hit it just as far as I do. I never thought about who was hitting it the furthest, but on one of the holes, someone said, I hit it past you there. I realized that I was preoccupying space in their head about the distance that we were hitting it. I needed them on board. I needed them playing within themselves and their game for that competition and keeping their ball in play. It wasn't useful that they were trying to hit it past me and then they were in the trees or hitting pop-ups or duck hooks or big banana slices. That wasn't useful for the team competition. Because ultimately, my friend, it is not a game of distance. Sure, distance helps because when you hit it further, then you can hit less club into the green. And when you're hitting a shorter club into the green, those clubs usually have a higher percentage of accuracy to them. You're going to hit a wedge on the green more often than you're going to hit a hybrid. This is just probability and facts and statistics. So yes, distance does help in that regard, but the objective of golf is to get from point A to point B, from the tee box to the hole in the least amount of shots possible. I have had my ass kicked in competition by girls who hit fairway woods into greens when I was hitting 8 irons and 9 irons. And I used to think, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so sad. I feel so bad for them that they have to hit in fairway woods. Like, how do they do that? How do they play? How are they so good? I go through all these scenarios. I'm like, they must feel really horrible about themselves. And then we add up the score at the end, they kick my ass. I'm like, what just happened? Right. But I thought about their golf game the whole way around. Like, how do they do it? How'd they get a college scholarship with that kind of distance? They don't hit the ball very high. How do they stop it on the green? I was so preoccupied with their golf game and not in my own game and trying to score my best and stay focused. And at the end, they got in the hole in less amount of shots than I did. They beat me. So it's not only about staying in your lane, but meet yourself where you are. You hit it X number of yards. Make the most out of that. If you want to create more distance, find a pro, find a trainer, somebody who might be TPI certified to help you create more club head speed. That's how you hit it farther. That's how you create more distance. But it's not going to help you if you're shaming yourself and comparing yourself to somebody else and their distance. And I know this happens because it's been happening since I played junior golf and all those pro-ams and right up until the member guest that I just played a couple weeks ago. People are preoccupied with how far they hit the ball. So I just want you to get a little self-aware and see if you can give yourself some relief and some grace. Accept yourself where you are. And if you really, really want distance, there are ways to create more distance, but you got to put in the work. All right, my friends, have a beautiful week and I'll talk to you next Wednesday. Bye.